I had an encounter on October 8th of this year, and I just want to read you. I deleted a few of the notes, but I want to read you just some of the notes because it was for me so much about a love encounter that had some instruction with it. So and they're just bullet points, but they're quite long. So I hope I don't lose you. Let me just read you some of them. This encounter. I've had several encounters through the years. This encounter, I got up early in the morning just because I couldn't sleep, and I went in the front room, and I was just laying there, and again couldn't sleep, and I just started to pray, and as I started to pray, the Lord just began to talk to me, and it was crazy. I had this overwhelming feeling that I was to take notes. I've often taken notes after an encounter, like, I don't want to forget that. I'm sure you've done that before, or a dream. You get your journal out, like, I don't want to forget this detail, or that phrase I heard, right? I'll never remember that phrase again, that kind of thing. But this time, I felt like I was to take notes in the midst of the encounter. And what's crazy is I was taking notes so fast. I don't spell very well, but the phrases were coming so quickly. And it was crazy that I was just doing it on my iPhone, that little note thing on your iPhone. I was just texting them, and I don't know, there was hardly any mistakes, and there were just these lines, one right after another. And I think the encounter lasted at least an hour and a half. It's quite long. And so I took a lot of bullet point, and maybe these were personally for me, but I often think that when something happens in the life of our leaders, I say this all the time for myself, but with Bill and some of the leaders in my life. When they have an encounter, I often think it should affect me. And I think it's not just a door. I don't think God does anything in us. No, I don't think God often does things in us that are personal that can't be, that aren't for other people too, especially as leaders. So I always claim, and when I get an encounter, I'm as excited for my children and the people we lead to have the fruit of it as I am myself, to be honest. So let me just read you a little bit of the word. Again, these are bullet points, so it's not going to sound like a prophetic word. It's going to sound more like instruction. Live so people celebrate your life and all I've given you. Love people and be patient with them in their weakness. Be compassionate with the broken. You were broken once. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Celebrate people, rejoice with them, mourn with them when they mourn, and reassure them in their mourning. Encourage the weak, admonish the unruly, heal the broken, care for the sick, help the helpless, guide the lost, teach the ignorant, love the unlovely, pray for the troubled, protect the innocent, and bring hope to everyone. Be kind to everyone. Be inconvenienced with joy. I don't know if that was a really big one for me. Like, I'm learning to be inconvenienced with patience. And the Lord's like, no, I want you to be inconvenienced with joy. You know when you're inconveniencing somebody and they know they've inconvenienced you and they're nervous about it and you're kind of like, it's okay. I felt like the Lord said, no, I want you to be joyfully inconvenienced. Be noble in your leadership. Be known for your patience. Be known for your patience. Be known for your patience. Be honest in your assessments of life. Be humble in your approach to people. Be accessible and approachable and teachable and flexible. Be reasonable. Don't demand your way. Don't be rude. Don't be self-righteous. Don't mock people in their weakness. Don't manipulate them with your strength. Don't gossip about anyone. Don't brag. Let others brag about you. Don't punish people. Don't be demanding, harsh, or irreconcilable. Don't make people feel bad for their weaknesses that inconvenience you. Don't hurt people who hurt you. Be bigger than them. Don't worry about things you can't change. Leave those to me. Let me guide others and correct them in my time. Live in peace with all men. Forgive people even when they meant to hurt you. Assure people in my love and remind them of my unreasonable generosity. Remind them of my unreasonable generosity, passion, and care for them. Honor everyone, even if they don't honor you. Reassure people even if their message, ministry, or work does not move you. Remember, it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. My mother used to say that. I got a prophetic word this week and by Sean Boltz, and part of the prophetic word is your mother used to say things to you that's going to come back to you and help you lead, something like that. And one of my mother said, there was two phrases my mother would often repeat. She'd say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I know then that was, my mother said that often, like weekly. And I know that had to do with my mother trying to deal with my impatience. And she'd say, it takes all kinds of people to make the world go around. And I realize now that that was my mother's way of helping with my way I judged people.